Madam, shall we start? Because the director and chairman in the chief guest also has joined, madam.
Yes, you can start, madam. You can start.
Yeah, 1 more minute. Okay.
Madam?
Madam, shall we start? Because the director and chairman in the chief guest
Okay.
also has joined,
We can start. Robin Tommy will be joining little late. We can
Yes,
start.
you can start, madam. You can start.
Okay. Ma'am, we are starting. Let me start with a famous quote of Walt Disney. We keep moving forward, opening new doors and doing new things because we are curious and curiosity keeps leading us down new paths. A warm good evening to all dignitaries, delegates, and guests present here. It gives me immense pleasure to welcome you all to the inaugural function of the Atal Tinkering Lab of Bhavans Vidya Mandir, Elamakara. This day is a much awaited day for the Bhavans Elamakara family as it's a dream come true for the diligent and concerted efforts put in by the dedicated team of our school. Let's start today's program by invoking the blessings of God Almighty.
श्वेशाय नित्य सुखभूत सद्वय श्वेचा गृहीत कमनीय कलेभराय श्वेचाय नित्य सुखभूत सद्वयाय श्वेचा गृहीत कमनीय कलेभराय कमनीय कलेभराय कमनीय कलेभराय नारायणाय भवदे भवभञ्जनाय पूर्णत्रयीशाय नमस्तुभ्यम्।
I now invite Srimati Jayashree L., Head of the Department Physics, to deliver the address of welcome.
When I see the young generation busy in innovation with enthusiasm like this, my resolve for new India gets stronger. In the 21st century, we will be able to get India the place in the world it deserves. These are the words of our Honorable Prime Minister, Sri Narendra Modi. Namaste to one and all present here. We all have gathered here to witness the inaugural ceremony of Atal Tinkering Lab, a much awaited moment for all of us at Bhavans Vidya Mandir, Elamakara. On this auspicious occasion, let me move on to the pleasant duty of welcoming each and every one present here. At the very outset, let me accord a cordial welcome to C.A. Venugopal C. Govind, Chairman, Bharati Vidya Bhavan Kuchi Kendra, who has kindly consented to preside over this function. He has been a constant source of inspiration in all our endeavors. On behalf of everyone present here, I welcome you, sir.
Thank you. Thank you. Namaste.
Next, I would like to welcome our chief guest of the day, Dr. Saji Gopinath, Vice Chancellor, Kerala University of Digital Science, Innovation and Technology, to this function. His expertise in the field of innovation is evident from the prestigious post he held earlier. The Director of Indian Institute of Information Technology and Management, Kerala, as a CEO of Kerala Startup Mission from 2017 to 2020. During his tenure at Startup Mission, he developed a network of micro enterprises which supported 700 families to emerge out of poverty. He also served as a dean at School of Management, Bennett University from 2015 to 2016, and also at Indian Institute of Management, Kozhikode. Dr. Saji Govinath served as a director at TA Pai Management Institute, Manipal during 2009-2011, which helped the institution to receive the AACSB accreditation. Dr. Saji Govinath is a recipient of KMA Technology Leadership Award, Management Leadership Award, Top Performer at State Startup Ranking 2018, Best CEO Award 2018, British Council Knowledge Economy Fellowship 2012, to mention a few. I proudly welcome you, sir, to this function.
Thank you.
Next, I would like to welcome Sri Robin Tommy, Head of Rapid Labs, TCS, who has been serving as the Innovation Advisor, University of Kerala since 2017. He also served as an analyst at Tata Consultancy Services during 2011 to 2013 and was actively involved in training, research, technical consultation, innovation specialist, quality improvement specialist, and has been a developer and a researcher. Sri Robin Tommy served as an innovation advisor at Kerala University during 2017. On behalf of Bhavans Vidya Mandir, Elamakara, I extend a warm welcome to you, sir. It is with great pleasure that I welcome our Honorable Director, Sri E. Ramankutti, for rendering all his support to make the infrastructure of the school adequately equipped and advanced to meet the growing aspirations and needs of the students, thus equipping them to face the emerging challenges and demands of the 21st century. A warm welcome to you, sir. I would also like to welcome our Vice Chairman, VVB Kochi Kendra, CCA G. Govinathan, and Honorary Secretary and Treasurer, Sri K. Shankara Narayanan, to this function. It's my pleasure to welcome Srimati Sukumari Menon, Education Officer, Bharati Vidya Bhavan Kochi Kendra, who graced this occasion with her presence. Welcome you, ma'am.
Thank you.
Next, I would like to welcome our beloved principal, our pillar of support, a vibrant and dynamic personality who always encourages and motivates us to explore the latest development in this fast-changing digital world. It was under her guidance that the first ATL lab was set up at Bhavans Vidya Mandir, Girinagar, which has been bringing laurels ever since its establishment. The ATL lab of Bhavans Vidya Mandir, Elamakara, being inaugurated today, is materialized only because of the initiative and ceaseless effort taken by Sunita ma'am. I extend a cordial welcome to you, ma'am.
Thank you.
I also extend a warm welcome to our Vice Principal, Srimati Sri Jyoti N, for all her guidance. Hearty welcome to you, ma'am.
Thank you. Thank you.
Next, I would like to extend a warm welcome to all the distinguished members of the Kochi Kendra Committee, educational officers, Shikshan Bharati, research coordinators, principals, vice principals, teachers of sister institutions, parents, well-wishers, and beloved students to this function. I also extend a warm welcome to the representatives of Evobi Automation, the vendors who provided all the equipments of the lab to this function. I conclude by quoting the words of Mahatma Gandhi. The future depends on what we do in the present. Once again, a hearty welcome to all of you present here. Thank you.
Thank you, madam. To speak about the genesis and evolution of Atal Tinkering Lab, may I now invite Srimati Sunita S., Senior Principal, Bhavans Vidya Mandir, Elamakara. Madam, please.
Namaste and warm welcome to all. Most respected Chairman, Bharatiya Vidya Bhavan, C.A. Venugopal C. Govind, Chief Guest, Dr. Saji Govinath, Vice Chancellor, Kerala University of Digital Science, Innovation and Technology, Director Bharatiya Vidya Bhavan, Sri Ramankutti, Resource Person Sri Robin Tommy, Head TCS Rapid Labs, Srimati Sukumari Menon, Education Officer, other members of the Kendra Committee, Academic Consultant Srimati Meena Vishwanathan, Education Officer Srimati Renuka Menon, Coordinator Research Center Srimati Jaya Jacob, Vice Principal Srimati Sri Jyoti, HOD Physics Department Srimati Jayasri, Principals and Vice Principals of our sister institutions, teachers, parents, and my dear students. Good afternoon. As many of you may be aware, the Atal Tinkering Lab program derives its essence from the ancient Indian Gurukul education system and world's most successful Finnish education system, focusing on self-learning methodology, hands-on practical training, and exposure to real-world situations. The traditional Indian education system has not been able to address the fast-changing requirements of the industry, and it was imperative that the school education in India be redefined with innovation. The ATL innovation is the first of its kind and the largest ever government-led initiative in the history of India, introduced to disrupt the Indian education system. It aims to empower young students with the 21st century skills, including creativity, innovation, critical thinking, social and cross-cultural collaboration, ethical leadership, and so on, and thereby enabling young Indians to create a new India. ATL fosters curiosity and lets innovators start young. Students are free to think and explore, try and fail, even come up with something out of the box. It has taken inspiration from the Stanford India Biodesign Program, which was an initiative of Department of Biotechnology, Government of India, All India Institute of Medical Sciences, Delhi, Indian Institute of Technology, Delhi, and Stanford University, and will enable India to carve a niche for itself in the global makers movement and become a global platform for world-class innovation. ATL is encouraging students and teachers to experiment, explore, and follow a self-learning path, thereby empowering them to think differently about problems and develop innovative solutions by leveraging latest technology tools including 3D printing, Internet of Things, robotics, miniaturized electronics, space technology, drone technology, technology-inspired textiles, and so on. ATL is also providing other sections of the community, including parents, mentors, and other individuals interested in innovation to give life to their ideas. Through frequent community sessions, ATL is shaping an ecosystem wherein every individual can contribute towards finding solutions for day-to-day problems of the society and the country, henceforth creating a strong essence of national service. Till date, over 10,000 schools have been selected for establishing ATLs, out of which 5,400 plus labs are fully operational, enabling more than 2.5 million students between grades 6 and 12 to advance emerging tinkering, DIY technologies, that is do-it-yourself technologies, and creating a problem-solving and innovative mindset. The Atal Tinkering Lab at school will be highly useful to the students to improve their psychomotor skills, the nurturing and developing of which was not given due importance in the Indian education system for a long period. To address this problem, that is, to bridge the gap between the content and its practical application, CBSE has introduced skilled courses like design thinking, financial market, banking and insurance, yoga, etc. from standard 6 onwards. The Atal Tinkering Lab can be the breeding ground to give shape and life to ideas and thoughts of the creative young generation. Their ability for critical thinking and innovation can be supplemented by providing them with the necessary equipment. Miniature versions of mechanical equipments like milling machines, manual lathes, vacuum forming, welding units, and recycling units can expand the scope of the students who have the inclination to tinker. Let our students tinker and bring about changes. Microscopic though may be, if that will help the world to live better. Thank you.
Thank you, Madam. I consider it a great honor to invite C.A. Venugopal C. Govind, Chairman, Bharatiya Vidya Bhavan Kochi Kendra, to deliver the presidential address. So please.
Thank you. Namaste to all of you. Our most distinguished, honored chief guest of the day, Dr. Saji Gobinathan, Mr. Robbie Toms, who is yet to join us, our distinguished director, Sri Raman Gutti, Madam Principal Sunita, Vice Principal Sri Jyoti, all the distinguished education officers, research coordinator, respected teachers, dear students. For us in Bhavans today, it's a day of great joy. Joy coupled with immense pride. We are extremely delighted to know the third tinkering lab of our school is being inaugurated today. Madam Sunita has beautifully brought out all the aspects of the new technological facility that is available for students under the aegis of Niti Aayog, Government of India, set up under the Atal Innovation Mission called the Atal Tinkering Lab for generating creative thinking in children, to develop scientific timber in children, to foster innovative potentials, capacities and capabilities in children, to help them engage in new experiments of what they are learning in textbooks and in classrooms through hands-on experiences and experiments in the lab, and to also learn to harness new emerging technologies which will substantially help them in the process of their grooming themselves into most advanced, capable, competent, tech-savvy entrepreneurs, managers, professionals, businessmen, industrialists, all in the world. I should wholeheartedly compliment the principal, Madam Sunita, and all the teachers in the computer science department, physics department, and other science departments who have been working so hard in the last several months, we are fully aware, to get their dream of establishing this Atal Tinkering Lab in Ilamagada School culminated. Madam Sunita has huge experience in this field. She has been the pioneer in taking the leadership to set up the first ever Atal Tinkering Lab, as was mentioned a short while ago, at our Girinagar lab. At that point of time, the whole concept, the idea, the nature of the facility, the kind of engagements, interactions, opportunities that will be made available to our students were germane to us. But today, after more than a year or close to 2 years, from all the reports that we get from the principal and teachers of Girinagar, we are fully convinced that Atal Tinkering Lab is a path-breaking facility for young thinkers, young students with the scientific mind, even those who do not have the scientific, innovative, creative skills in them, even ordinary children with the given competence and the capabilities. It will certainly stimulate them, inspire them, motivate them to think, to learn, and to expand their faculties and capabilities. I'm so deeply impressed by the report I got a short a few days ago from Madam Principal Girija that a large number of our students in Girinaga have won several contests, inter-school competitions, national competitions on technology platforms, something which our children would normally could never have probably thought of achieving, brushing shoulders with very competent and one of some of the best schools in this country and young, brilliant youngsters. Our students have brought several laurels, excelled, exceeded in their level of intelligence and competence, and have shown that our children are second to none if given the right kind of facility, encouragement, support, motivation, and all that. Our teachers also, who have been working with Atal Tinkering Labs, they have also shown their competence, won awards, national, international, some of them. Madam Sarita Ravichandran and Madam Gia Thomas, worth mentioning them, they all taken good initiative in the last 2 years, close to 2 years, in seeing that our students are molded and trained very well. But as I said, this initiative was taken by Madam Sunita, and when she assumed as the role of principal of Elamakara School, our largest school amongst all the 7 schools, 7 senior secondary schools we are running in the city and in Vellore, she had set her eyes from day one of setting up a most modern, most advanced Atal Tinkering Lab. She had taken the personal pains to go to Delhi, meet the officials of Niti Aayog, Ministry of Education, Government of India, and several, and the result of which we see today. And closely following that, we had got approval for 2 more schools in Erur and also in Adarsha Kakana. Erur was inaugurated only last week, and I'm sure that Madam Sunita, who requires all the accolades, appreciation, approbation from us, will take the initiative to take this Atal Tinkering Lab to much greater heights now. She has already outlined what are the facilities that are available, what are the new avenues and areas of technological advancements that are possible, how children could be introduced into the advancing technology, their applications in their learning process and all that. So she is absolutely competent. I have no doubt about that in my mind, that in the next few years to follow, Atal Tinkering Lab that is being inaugurated by Dr. Saji Gopinathan will be one of the finest such institutions in this country as a whole. And I wish this facility and this laboratory all success in the times ahead. I'm so very delighted, I must say very frankly, that such a personality as Dr. Saji Gopinath is available with us today, and he has found time to spend his very extremely valuable moments with our teachers and children, young budding scientists. Dr. Gopinathan, as we have seen him, has made an indelible mark of his competence, his knowledge, his experience, his expertise, his skills in various fields, in industry, in academics, in education, in all these areas, wherever he has touched, he has been able to bring about quantum change and advancements, whether it is in the Smart Kerala Startup Mission, or whether it is in the several of the projects that he has initiated in setting up new ventures, and in the educational arena, especially arena in the technological field, in the institutes of management, several of them he has headed, and most prominently the Indian Institute of Management, Calicut, with which some of us have had very early association in his early days. Such institutions he has had the vast experience, and today he has been put in charge of a very novel, very significant initiative of the government of Kerala, the University for Digital Science, Innovation and Technology. A state like Kerala with such brilliant men who have the capability inbuilt, innate capacity in them to think and research and develop. I think an university of this kind is most appropriate, and I'm sure Dr. Saji Gopinath will bring his wealth of knowledge and experience and skill sets in blazing new trails with this university. We would also like to be part of the journey in what little way that we can in trying to, derive the benefits out of what the university is doing. I'm sure the programs and projects that will be developed by the university will in some way have application impact or extension to the high school level students also. And it should be possible for us to benefit out of that. As we have been seeing, we are very sure that technology can make a whole lot of change in the way students learn, in the way teachers teach. So we would like to know from Dr. Sajeev Gopinathan also, who has years of teaching experience, as to how school teachers in computer science, in mathematics, in physics and related areas could pass on the knowledge that have more effectively, expose them or give them experiential learning by exposing them, by opening the windows of knowledge to them. From technology-enabled learning, which was already there, all our schools have very modern smart classes and all the other devices. Online classes are now going on for close to 14,000 and odd students of our 7 schools from classes 1 to 12, very successfully and very effectively. And lesson plans are being developed, content is being developed, curriculum is being modernized, many things are being done in order to make the technology helps them substantially in their ability to learn. From the technology-enabled learning, we are moving on to the technology-enhanced learning. That is the next step. How do we bring classrooms, the technology that is needed today to enhance the skills in the students to the classroom? From physical classes, we have already moved to online classes. And now we are going into blended learning now. Partly in future, all the learning will be blended, partly in the classroom, partly in the online. So when we combine both, how it will be possible for us to achieve the objectives of a technology-enabled learning, more importantly in areas like improving engagement of our students, in improving the knowledge retention of our students, in ensuring that there is knowledge retention by all our students, in encouraging collaborative learning, which is the most important essential element of new learning technology, so that the vision of the children will be brought down, their curiosity will be kindled, and they will be able to think creatively, which will take them to the next step of being innovative. And then with the hands-on experience and the scientific temper that they will develop, they should be able to contribute substantially. A paradigm change should be able to be brought out in the education scenario by their learning and equipping in the fastest possible manner. For that, facilities like Atal Tinkering Lab, which gives them all real-time opportunities to learn firsthand of all that they have been otherwise learning in textbooks or through their class teachers and all that. That will, you have no doubt, that will enhance their capability, their learning potential. Equally important beneficial that we are trying to achieve is to improve our teachers' teaching skill also. In order to teach the modern emerging technology talented young students with brilliant minds, innovative minds, we need teachers also who have equally outstanding technological innovative skills, temperament and all that. So therefore, they have also to learn to adapt, apply emerging technologies, most modern technologies, most advanced technologies, which are relevant for education. We are in an era or a time where technology is changing the way how the whole world lives. Every part of human activity, whether it is business or trade or industry, commerce, manufacturing, agriculture, any aspect, environmental management, any aspect of human life, healthcare and education even, have been touched and transformed by new technology. We have had access to the process automation utilities, including robotics that we have. We are already applying machine learning, machine thinking. We are moving into design thinking. We are moving into data analytics. Many areas are opening up with a huge lot of opportunities for youngsters to learn And therefore, what we perceive today as a small facility for the young little children to experiment and learn could certainly emerge with the advice and guidance and support of most eminent, outstanding educationists and men of eminence learning like Dr. Saji Gopinath. I'm sure it should be possible for us to take our Atal Tinkering Lab also to the next level as the years go by. So I'm so very happy that we have Dr. Saji Gopinath. Once again, on behalf of all of you, let me wholeheartedly express our most sincere gratitude first for having accepted so kindly our invitation and for being present here. And also let me extend to him my bouquet, our bouquet of warmest welcome. Thank you. Thank you very much, sir. Thank you.
Maya, you are muted. Maya, you are muted.
Sorry, ma'am. Thank you, sir. It's my pleasure to invite the esteemed director of Bharatiya Vidya Bhavan Kochi Kendra, Sri E. Ramankutti, to address the participants at the virtual inaugural function of Atal Tinkering Lab of Bhavan's Vidya Mandir, Elamakara. Sir, please.
Namaste to all of you. Good afternoon. Our Honorable Chairman, Sri Venugopal C. Govind, our distinguished Chief Guest, Dr. Saji Gopinath, Sri Robin Tommy, Madam Sugumari Menon, Madam Principal, Srimati Sunita, Madam Vice Principal, Srimati Sri Jyoti, Srimati Jayashri, and all the others present online. Namaste to all of you. Atal Tinkering Lab is a flagship initiative of Atal Innovative Mission of central government to inculcate an innovative mindset amongst students across the country. We are very much in the process of moving towards inquiry-based learning from the rote-based learning method. And this is the fourth Atal Tinkering Lab we are setting up. Our 3 schools have already got the Atal Tinkering Lab. One was inaugurated last week, and this is the last one in the line. And 3 more schools are in the process of applying for this particular lab. And this develops critical thinking, problem solving, and collaborative skills in the students. This method results in increasing the attention span in children and boosting a students' creativity. Atal labs are so designed to enable students to explore new ideas, test them, and follow learning by doing approach. Students are introduced to different levels of tinkering that includes experience, design thinking, and ideation to develop new perspectives towards social and community problems. Students have ample opportunities to develop skills of observation, survey, research, reporting, presentation, communication, and collaboration with the team involved and leadership traits. Atal Tinkering Lab would teach students the essential 21st century skills. Skilled India is the need of the hour, and we should work together for a better India. I'm sure and confident that the Atal Tinkering Lab in Bhavan's Vidya Mandir, Elamakara will be a platform to inculcate and develop scientific temper in the young learners. I pray and wish BVM Elamakara all success in this noble mission of knowledge enhancement. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. As Bhavan's Vidya Mandir, Elamakara proudly sets its steps into the noble mission of inculcating and developing scientific temperament in the young learners of today, it's my privilege to invite our chief guest, Dr. Saji Gopinath, Vice Chancellor, Kerala University of Digital Science, Innovation and Technology, for the virtual inauguration of the Atal Tinkering Lab of Bhavan's Vidya Mandir, Elamakara, and for the inaugural address. Sir, please.
Namaste. Most respected President of the function, Sri C.A. Venugopal C. Govind, Distinguished Director Sri E. Ramankuti, respected Principal.
Your face,
Srimati-
sir, your face is not fully visible. Slightly.
Okay, is it okay?
Little more, little more, little
Okay.
more, little more. Yes, sir. That's right.
Okay,
Thank you.
I think I'll stand like that. Okay. This is fine.
Yeah, that's fine.
So, respected Principal Srimati Sunita ji, and other distinguished faculty members, members of Bhavan's community, parents, and dear students. For me, it's a great privilege to be a part of the journey of a next successful adult tinkering lab at the Bhavan School. And it's a great opportunity for all the young innovators. I believe that this adult tinkering lab is going to produce in large numbers in the days to come. Now, if you look at the purpose of adult tinkering lab, as rightly pointed out by the earlier speakers, is primarily to create a sense of inquiry, scientific inquiry, create sort of fine-tuning the scientific temper and things like that. But more importantly, I think we need to start looking at how innovation has to be fostered when you are very, very young. Somebody used to say that the maximum learning happens when you are very young. That's basically the point where if you start looking at our young generation and post them the right problems, many times very intelligent answers comes from them. Now, Adult Tinkering Lab and the ecosystem it provides is the one which help to translate those ideas into action per se. I am sure that all of us used to quote this quote from Albert Einstein, where he once said that the problems of today cannot be solved by the mindset which created them. You require different methods, different ways of looking at it. It's time that we need to actually start looking at why so much of problems are around us in many fields. As a country, India has advanced substantially during the last several years, but still we have not conquered all our problems, which is a paradox because we have such a large number of people, very bright minds. If you look at across the world, if you look at many of the top organizations, be it in space, be it in science institutions, be it medical institutions, be it in political fields, many of them are actually being led by Indians. But with all such a great brains, why we still have poverty, why we still have pollution, why we still have other problems around us? And that is basically where I think the need for innovation comes into picture. When the Startup India, which also happened along with the Adult Tinkering Mission, Adult Innovation Mission, way back in 2014, Honorable Prime Minister made a very important observation. He said that as a country with a lot of young people, if the people in India started looking at social problems and come out with solutions for that, then India can actually accelerate to the next stage of growth very, very fast. He was actually asking startups, which is basically next step of innovators, when they translate their ideas into something which is a product. I'll speak about some of them a little later. If they actually solve some very important problems of the society, then the society can advance very further. In the past, when you think about developing something, we always think about doing that after we complete our studies, when we get a job and things like that. We never expected that the young generation can actually solve many of the problems around us. But that world is gone. Today's world, the new generation is the one who observes many things very closely. And then they started asking this question that, can I actually do a way of addressing that? Can I actually look at it in a slightly different manner and start solving it? Let me give you a very simple example. We know that in many remote areas of India, we still don't have enough facilities for doctors. And on classic example is the northern Maharashtra, which some of you may be familiar with. A large number of children are born with malnutrition. The reason being, the mothers are anemic, there is no doctor to actually check, or there is nobody actually can detect whether there is an anemia in those children or not, or in the parents or not, or the carrying mothers are is there or not. Now, the conventional solution which we think about is that we need to actually start hospitals, we need to start different health centers, and then provide this. Now, in a country like India, which is so huge, you require a large number of doctors and people like that. Somebody actually, in fact, it came from a school children, came with a simple idea. The idea was that, how do a doctor quickly check whether you are anemic or not? I'm sure that us young kids here, many of you have gone to the doctor. The doctors must have done this. What do they do? They actually take your eyes down and they check it. Simple as that. Now the question is, if you know that there should be a doctor somewhere, and I am actually showing my eye, and we know that India has got enough number of mobile phones. Even in a remote area, there is mobile phones. So this child actually developed a simple app, a small app. We use apps left, right, and center for many things. So the app does the very simple thing. If you are a person and you feel that you are anemic or you have a problem, all you need to do is take your mobile, take that app, and take a selfie. And that is also something which all of us are familiar with. Then the selfie will actually go to a doctor which is in a remote area, who will in turn look at it. And then, of course, this is not as easy as what I said. There is a little bit of additional algorithms which go along with that. And then he or she will be able to detect whether there is a problem or not. In the next step, you can actually do it in your mobile phone itself. You don't even have to send it across. So this simple idea actually led to one of the large companies of India today. And it actually, not only that it has become a large company, but it's actually have saved a large number of children in many remote areas of this country from malnutrition, born with ill-nourished sort of a thing. So what I mean to say is that when you think about innovation need not necessarily have to come from a lot of resources and a lot of challenges. It can actually come from simple ideas. It can come from problems. When you look at the problems and when you are looking at trying to see how some of the things which we are applying today can be applied over there. Now, when people are actually doing practical questions or faced with practical questions, and then if they started working to solve that, that's basically where the innovation happens. Now, why are we speaking about that today? There are a couple of reasons for that. The first reason is that there is a big change in the technology happening in the world. Now, we know that most of, and in fact, I think the Honorable Principal started by saying that Adult Tinkering Lab is one of the examples of reinventing India's Gurukula education, which is very true. Because the last century's education, and this is for teachers and many of the others, the last century of education was of mass model. In a mass model, we actually look at only an average. Of course, the teacher's skills will actually help to do it, but still we are looking at very large classrooms. Think about a Gurukula education. The advantage of a Gurukula education is that a guru knows each and every kid's learning path. The entire thing is known to the guru per se. Now, because of the mass education which has happened, we lost out that. Today, the technology again coming back and helping us within the mass space. Can I actually help each student chart his or her way of learning per se? The new education policy primarily speaks about it. We are actually looking at a world where the education is, along with stressing on access and quality, which are two very important elements which you speak about in the past, we are also speaking about a very important thing, the individual students' learning per se. And that requires closer interactions, technology which can actually help the person to look at it. And so this is one area. There is a technological change which is happening. And the best part of the new technology, which we generally call as the Industry Revolution 4.0, because we have earlier industrial revolutions. All of us, all the young children here have studied about steam engine and James Watt, which was one which actually started the industrial revolution way back in 1800s, which is basically led to large textile factories. It actually led to development of Europe and part of Europe. Then we have the automobile, which is what today we are seeing about the automobile, the jet engines and IC engines and things like that, which led to the second industrial revolution. And American growth was primarily because of that. Then we have a computer revolution which happened, or an electronic revolution which happened in the recent past, maybe 30 years back. And the China's growth using that, China, Taiwan, etc., has grown through that. Now we are on the fourth industrial revolution. The fourth industrial revolution, we are actually combining these three worlds, the digital, physical, and biological worlds today. We have labs where you can actually grow parts, human parts, for example. You can, if you have a nerve cut, you can actually 3D print your nerve. If you wanted to make a small part of your body, you can actually 3D print it. Now, some of you young kids may not be knowing what is 3D printing, and I think Madam mentioned that is a part of the adult tinkering lab also. A simple example of 3D printing is this. Think about you want to buy a toy. What do? You go to a shop and buy a toy. But think about a thing that you have at home, there is a small printer where if you want to do a toy, you go to Paint or whatever your tool which is available and draw the toy and switch on the printer and the toy comes out of it. It is as simple as that. Of course, it's not exactly that, but it's something very similar to that. The idea being that you are actually moving to a world where you are producing at that point when you are consuming. You know that earlier we used to draw it in paper, then we started drawing it in nice pictures in computers. The next level is you can actually start producing at your level itself. In fact, India's largest 3D printing, I'll say an estate or a farm, is not far away from your school. It is actually in Kalamassery, the startup mission space. It has got a large number of 3D printers of various kinds. In fact, outside MIT, USA, the Massachusetts Institute of United States of America, the largest fab lab, which is the next higher level of the tinkering lab, is actually in Cochin. So I strongly recommend that as you develop more and more, you should actually go and see and start using the facilities over there. But what 3D printing is one of the technologies. Like this, several newer technologies are actually available in front of us. And these technologies, the best part of these technologies are they're extremely democratic. They're easily available. Today, if you want to get a new technology which has come to the world, it comes to you in a very short period of time. This is the big advantage of newer technology. If you look at textile technologies, it took almost 100, 200 years for the world to get it. Even 80 years for automobile technologies. When computers came to all after 30, 40 years, the newer technologies are coming in a very fast manner to us. So one end, we are getting access to technologies. The second thing, the cost of technologies are actually very low. It's actually easily accessible. And Madam was mentioning about 10,000 schools having the adult tinkering lab across the country, training millions of students. So you are basically, suddenly you see that the access to technology is becoming very easy. Now, you have other side, you have a large set of problems. Now start looking at how do I use my intellect, use this infrastructure which is available and try to solve. And in this process, you may fail. And that is the way it should be. That is basically where we call it as a experimental setup. It is in the school's comfort, we can actually start trying many new things. Some of them will succeed, some of them may fail. But many times we have seen that the things which has come out from schools and colleges are the ones which can actually grow further. There's a small company not very far from your place called Shastra Robotics, which is actually done by a couple of students from an engineering college a few years back. They actually did exactly what you are going to do in adult tinkering lab, but not in the school, but they did it in the college. And they developed a product. Today, that product is actually sold to world's largest aircraft manufacturer, the Lockheed Martin. The next stage of, I'm sure some of you are very fond of aircrafts, knows about F-16. The next set of F-16 aircrafts are going to use this product, which is developed in Cochin by quite a few seniors to you from our own system. They came from the college, they developed the product, they actually start looking at the client, and then they were able to do it. this was unthinkable in the past. We could have never ever imagined that people from our own region can actually go into the best places in the world and start selling it. This all happened because the newer technology provides you that space as such. I will also add one more example because this is a very example very close to my heart, and you must have also heard this, because technology becomes meaningful when you are able to apply it. In fact, my good friend Robin Tommy is actually going to speak about that. He has done several innovations which are extremely purposeful. This is also about a set of students, but not school students, again from the college students. But I don't think there's a big difference between school students and college students. It's only because at that point of time, it was not available in the schools. Today, it is available in schools also. So these kids have actually passed out from an engineering college in Kerala, not from big cities, from a small city, small town. And they, while they were in the college, they actually started tinkering things. And tinkering things is basically you're trying to develop. And one of the things which they developed is something which they got motivated by a movie called Iron Man. I'm sure many of you kids must have seen Iron Man, right? Iron Man, what do you do? An Iron Man actually can carry very, very heavy things. So this technology is known as exoskeleton. It's a very simple way, because what you are doing is you are using sensors in your body and you measure that. Then you use some sort of a multiplier device, which actually ensures that in your hand you can raise 100 kgs, 500 kgs, etc. Very, very crude way they did, but they did that. So when they pass out from the college, we knew that these kids have got this sort of skills, and we introduced them to a social problem, a problem which many of us must have seen, must have read in the papers and seen also. That is the problem of scavenging. We know that India has got a large number of people, actually 30 million people, actually 32 million people, 32 lakh people, every day doing this job of getting into clogged drains, open drainages, and start cleaning it. You must have read in the newspapers that sometimes you must have said that somebody has got into a manhole and then he died. Now, we ourselves think about it. When you walk around and you see there is an open drain which is stinking, what will we do? We close our nose and walk away, right? Now, think about some person who does this job day in and day out for their life. They have to go in that well, in that dirty place, clean that just to make a living. Now, this is the problem which Honorable Prime Minister was speaking about, the social problem. Now, this problem was posed to these kids. And as I said, they were doing this robotics in their college. And they thought that, why can't we actually come out with a solution? A solution that instead of a person going inside the well and cleaning it, can he or she can do this through a machine, a simple robotic machine, which will go into the clogged thing and clean it, take it out and throw it into a waste basket or something like that. Of course, technically it is more challenging, but they did it in around 8 to 9 months time. They actually did this particular product. And the beauty of that is that the person, in fact, this was all motivated by a picture of a person who was cleaning this filth in a newspaper front page. The same person whose picture came in the newspaper, standing in a dirty drain and cleaning it, the same person in the first time in the life, he actually operated a machine and cleaned a drain without getting into the drain by himself. And I still remember, and those kids always used to say that, still remember the tears of joy in that person. For the first time in his life, he can decide that I can do a job very dignificantly, in a dignified manner, without getting dirty. That is the essence of new technology solutions. Now, this particular group of kids today actually work in around 8 states. They have grown very, very fast. They actually introduced this product in 2018 February, 2018 October. Honorable Prime Minister and UN Secretary General has invited them to Delhi and launched their second version of the product, because this product became a very important element of the Switch Bharat mission of India per se. Now, as children, we see several problems like this around us. Start thinking about it. Can I actually start looking at a solution to this? Most of the things you may not be able to solve, but some of them, just like that anemic problem which I said, or some of the other problems, you will be able to solve. Go back to your adult tinkering lab. It actually provides you the ecosystem to do that. If you don't have everything there, which obviously a lab may not be able to do everything here, look at Startup Mission Space. It actually supplements or complements whatever there in the adult tinkering lab. There are people who will be able to help you to develop it. Because when you can actually come out with such innovative solutions to address such problems which is bane of our society, we actually make a big leap for the people who otherwise has been underprivileged in this context. Let me stop by saying one more thing. There's a program called Young Innovators Program. It's called OIP. And in this budget of Kerala government, if some of you must have seen that, the government has actually declared its intention to convert Kerala into a knowledge society. Now, this Young Innovators Program is a program where an innovator who comes out of the school will be supported through multiple support systems. It's not only funding support, but supported from the experts from across the world, where an idea which he or she had proved first level in an adult tinkering lab or in the school can actually be taken to the next higher level. That need not necessarily be to as a company or a product. It can even be an idea which can actually lead to a research, a contribution per se. So OIP happens every year. We have a very expert panel across the country who basically monitors this and support this. So I will also very strongly recommend, because I'm quite impressed that across the Bhavans itself, there are around 7 schools now, or 9 schools, like what Honorable Chairman mentioned, which basically have got adult tinkering labs, to encourage your students also to be part of Young Innovators Program, because it provides eminent support to create a large number of innovators in the society. So it is said that education becomes meaningful when you have 3 elements to this. The knowing element, which is what the students get at the classes, at various interactions with the teachers. The second element is a doing element, where they actually started translating that into something of a practice. And the third element is a being element. When I started empathizing with the society around me, when I started looking at the ethics of it, when I started looking at the challenges of it, all the 3 things are needed to provide a holistic education. And these sort of facilities are going to provide these 2 elements to supplement the knowledge which a classroom provides. I'm sure that all of you who is going to get participating in the adult tinkering mission will going to get excellent, exciting opportunities, and look forward to have great products, great ideas, great thinking coming from each of you, primarily to make India a better place to live. With these few words, let me formally do my pleasant duty of inaugurating the Adult Tinkering Lab, and wish the lab and all the people associated with all the very best. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Let me now invite all of you to join us on a brief virtual tour of our Adult Tinkering Lab and a peek into some of the work done by our students in the nascent stage of the lab.
Namaste everyone. My name is Arjun Paleri and I study in 9th grade. Friends Joe, Paul and Abhishek, we three together have made a blind shoe which helps blind people while they are walking. What the device does is that it detects any obstacle in front of it and gives a beeping sound. The components we have used for this project are jumper wires, breadboard, Arduino Nano, ultrasonic sensor, a power source and a buzzer.
Now I am going to show how this model works in a shoe.
Namaste, I am Jyotika Marinjogi of class 6F. The ultrasonic sound sensor works by emitting sound waves at a frequency too high for human beings to hear. Then they wait for the sound to be reflected back, calculating the distance based on the time required. The components that are used in the project are Arduino board, XCSR04 ultrasonic sound sensor, jumper wires and breadboard. I have already done the coding. Here I am going to measure the distance between the sensor and the object. The ultrasonic sound sensor generates ultrasound waves. These waves fall on the object and reflects back. This reflected wave is received by the receiver. Now let's check the measurement shown on the screen. It is written as 13 cm. Now let's verify it with the help of a scale. It is also 13 cm. This is how ultrasonic sound sensor works.
What you just saw was a hands-free door. You all know that in every house there is a door and we need to physically touch it for it to. You also know that physically touching anything is not recommended these days. What we have made is a doorbell in which you just need to place your hand in front of it or just wave in front of it for it to. This uses Arduino IR sensors and for this prototype we have just used a buzzer. When the IR sensor detects IR light, the bell should ring. So in the future, we can upgrade this by keeping a security camera near the sensor and connecting to the internet, and we can make our home a smart home. And the list is endless.
Welcome to our ATL project, Automatic Street Light. The main objective of our project is to conserve electrical energy. We have devised our project in such a manner that the street light turns on automatically when it senses a vehicle, and when the vehicle passes by, it turns off. Now, the important components used in our project are Arduino, IR sensors and LEDs.
We have used LDRs, LEDs and IR sensors. We have used the IR sensors to detect vehicles. We have used the LDR to detect light. This is our ATL project, Automatic Street Light Sensor. We have used 4 LEDs, an LDR and an Arduino. The car moves forward. The IR sensor detects vehicle and glows the LED corresponding to it.
This is designed in such a way that when vehicle passes, it will light up. Otherwise, it will be off.
Hello, welcome to the video. Understanding the problems in the it can climb the wall and also can clean. So this is the fan which cleans the dust. So this is a low RPM gear rotor. So this is a suction cup. So when we give the pressure to the suction cup, the area increases, surface area increases. It's just like the principle of lizard's skin. So using this principle, it can climb the wall. So we have more to build upon this with the airport standard.
I have designed a simple project called Smart Dustbin. In this COVID situation, it will help us. This is Arduino. This is servo motor. This is ultrasonic sensor. This is breadboard and jumper wires. This is power bank for the power supply. Now going for the working condition of the dustbin. I humbly request you all by Do not throw the waste you roll.
Namaste all. My name is Advait Pai and I am from 6A. It is really important to keep the door handle sanitized. So I thought of a solution to this problem and came up with this idea of this door handle sanitizer. This is my project, the automated door handle sanitizer. This blue board here is called the Arduino. It is the brain of this project, and this red board over here is called the motor controller. This pump's name is called the diaphragm pump. It is the ultrasonic sensor. Now let's see the real demo. So I'll walk here to it. Let us spray the sanitizer.
Thank you all.
Namaste, me, Rohit Sanil, and my friend Rohit Rakesh have made a Bluetooth controlled fan using the following materials. The first is an Arduino Uno, which is an open source microcontroller board developed by Arduino.cc. The second is a Bluetooth module HC05, which is a STP module designed for transparent wireless serial connection setup. We have also used some jumper wires, a breadboard, a 12V adapter, and a fan.
We could even control the fan from a distance. We could even adjust the speed of the fan. In the future, we all can expect a Bluetooth controlled fan in our homes. Now let's see how it works.
Hello friends, my name is Kiran. I am here to present an obstacle avoiding robot we created with an Arduino Uno. The components used in this obstacle avoiding robot are an Arduino Uno, a motor driver shield, a servo motor and an ultrasonic sensor. And we also used 4 Vero motors and 4 wheels.
I'm optimistic that all of you appreciate the ideation reflected in the work of our young student brigade. Creativity is thinking up new things and innovation is doing new things. May I now invite Sri Robin Tommy, Head TCS Rapid Labs, to ignite the young inquisitive minds with a talk on the power of purpose-led innovation. Sir, please.
Thank you, Mayam. Thank you all. So, respected dignitaries, Dr. Saji sir, so who has been one of our mentors, one of the most beloved persons. I respect. I lost him. So, as a part of Startup Mission, and CA Venugopal sir, Ramankutti sir, Srimati Sukumari Menon, and Sunitha ma'am for inviting me for giving a talk. So, I'll now share my desktop and the slide. So meanwhile, I'll just stop my video so that I will not have issues with my bandwidth. So give me a second, I'll just share. So I believe all of you are able to see my screen.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
You can see.
Thank you. So today, the subject or the topic which I thought I'll take in front of you is power of purpose-led innovation. It's really amazing to see the Adel Tinkering Lab. So as the word tinkering, I could see a lot of great use cases coming out, great experiments being done as a part of this lab, great minds being developed from their childhood, and seeing those actually excites all of us and empowers this entire journey. Now here we are doing a lot of great things, I know that, so I'm just trying to put up few things which we have done, also what we can also envision towards a purpose-driven journey. Look, technology is one part of innovation. Business is another part of innovation, if you ask me. So if you draw a triangle, business is there, technology is there, strategies are there. So innovation can happen in any of those angles. It can be in any method. So as Dr. Saji was mentioning, there are problems all around us. Okay, so how you observe those problems and how deep you go into those problems, you bring in a solution. It's not that only technology can solve that problem, but in many ways you can solve the problems that you see around the globe. Now, one such kind of activity, like most of us in our life come through. So something that I'm trying to discuss here is something that we saw as a problem. We found that something is required, not only from technology, but to understand this problem and go deeper into it and help them is what I'm trying to present here, something that we have done for the society. Okay, and purpose is really important for any business perspective, and each and every individual as us, we have always a goal, we have a vision, we have always a mission that or the goals with which this mission is achieved. Now, purpose is one kind of a goal or a vision people have in their mind. So what can I do if there is a problem, or how can I help people out? Now, from looking from the perspective of our lab, which is called the TCS Rapid Lab. So the name itself says rapid. So in velocity, how we can do things for people all across the globe. That's what we do. And there are certain things that we do by identifying the purpose behind it. And we come from the Tata Group, where purpose is really important, ethics is really important, social is really important, and each and every individual is really important for us. Now, what I'm going to give you is a very narrowed down approach, but a very important space which each one of us can start thinking of, okay, which we have been doing certain things, like the social innovation space. So, as I told you, we have to identify problems. There are several problems around you. So you might have you have heard the story of Gen Robotics from Dr. Saji. So the problem was, we have been seeing this problem. We have seen people cleaning manhole. We have looked at them. As an individual, what I have done is I just go through that area, just making sure I just close my nose and go there. I have never thought that how we can help it. But today, Gen Robotics, one of the beautiful startups in Kerala, is solving that problem. Similarly, a lot of things are happening. So if you start understanding the problem, or there is an opportunity there where you want to solve it, or there is a challenge that is existing, anything it can be. So that is where it all starts from. Then you start generating ideas around it. Then you start developing solutions. I could see a beautiful problem being solved called blind shoes. So shoes for the blind. So using ultrasonic sensors, you're trying to detect, okay, what is the obstacle in front of you? So you know that there is some problem that's there, and you're trying to solve that. You're trying to develop it, and you're trying to test it, and you're trying to make a case here. So entire end-to-end, you're trying to make a case, and you're trying to deliver, implement, and grow it on scale. So growing and scaling, challenging the system, it's all there, and depends on how you want to grow it and how you want to scale this particular whatever problem that you identified, the solution that you have got through. So that is the next phase, but at least making that case and contributing for that purpose is what I would say one of the beautiful things that you have been doing, and the Adult Tinkering Lab has been there for. So let me start with the first problem, which we have been trying to solve for the divinely abled society. They are the specially abled children. So as you see here, so there is a person who is standing there who is actually trying to lift his hands. Now, all this problem started like 4 years back. So when one of our own DCH, who is the delivery center head, Dinesh Thampi, who asked us to just go to a special school in Kochi. I'm not saying which is that school, at least it's a school in Kochi. We went there. So we were a group of people going to the school. We went to the school morning like 9 a.m. The school starts at 10 o'clock. So we waited for people, and we were just looking at how the children are coming. It's a special school. Okay, so there is people who are having autism, children who are having cerebral palsy. So let me say, what is cerebral palsy? Cerebral palsy is a condition from birth where these kids are not able to move much, or their limb movements are affected. So they are not able to much lift their hands or even walk properly. So most of them might be on a wheelchair, or they might be on the crutches, that single crutch or dual crutch for walking. Some of them are even bedridden. They cannot even come out of their bed. So CP is that condition, or cerebral palsy. Autism is more of like they're differently abled, I would say. We have been working with more than thousands autistic kids and autistic people all across the globe. So autism is a very special condition. They're very special, I would say. They have they'll be very different. I know few children who are really good at the mathematics. Some of them at the economic side of it. Some of them at their creativity, especially drawing, painting, and all those kind of things. Now, when we went to the school, we could see these children coming. Almost 85% of the parents were coming with them. So this was an observation, how we were trying to understand the problem, or how this problem got into our hearts. So empathy is really important for solving any problem, as you all know. So this problem should get into our heart, or else what happens? We just to try to run away from the problem, or we try to just feel, or that comes to our heart that, hey, that problem is there, it's okay. Why should I deal with that problem? So here, what we wanted here is, we were just looking at them. We were looking how they come. So there was a school bus coming. We could see a lot of children getting down of the school bus. So each child took almost like 10 minutes to get out of the school bus and go into the school, because most of them might be on a wheelchair. Their parents will be there with them. 90% of the parents were with these kids. So let's all think that we are all, I would say today, blessed that we are all able to go to school without much of our parents' support. So here, what I have seen is most of them comes with at least one of their parent, and mostly it is their mothers. Okay. So the mother is holding the child and coming there, and she sits there the entire day. So from 10 o'clock in the morning till 5 p.m. in the evening, or 4 p.m. in the evening, she sits there and she just takes here her child and goes back to home. So this is a routine activity. We were there for like 3 to 4 days in the school, seeing what is happening. So we looked at it. We started having conversation with them. Like most of these children were having difficulty to speak, first of all. So when I say difficulty to speak, look, again, we might not even understand what they are trying to say. We might not even understand what they are trying to even engulf, or I would say thinking in their mind. They are very good intellectually. If you look at the way in which they are able to solve the problem, I would say they are one of the best in the world. But what I want to bring here is that they are not able to communicate it properly. They don't know what to say to us when we ask, okay, what is the major problem that you face, or what did you do today? If you ask this question, he's not able to answer it properly because they're having either speech learners or any other one or the other issues of communication. Okay. Now, during this phase, when we were interviewing, or I would say, we were talking to the parents. Most of the parents were not ready to discuss with us, but it's fine because we know. And that is where we went to one room. Okay, there is a room. It's called the physiotherapy room. So most of you, physiotherapy means it's a stage where if you have a problem with your bone or your muscle, we usually go with the physiotherapy process. So a physiotherapist will actually give you some exercises, or he tries to massage that parts of the body. Now, what happened here is, even today, I remember that day when we were in front of that room, we were hearing children crying like anything. Some of the children were crying so loud that we even one of our teammates just went outside it, because she was not able to withstand that kind of a situation, I would say. So it's like a 5-year-old kid, 6-year-old kid, I would say, inside the room during the physiotherapy process, because of the pain that is going through them, because of the cerebral palsy issues he or she is facing. It is a huge painful process, that physiotherapy process. Now that actually triggered us to see what is that we can provide them. Look, every day they have to go to this room, go through that physiotherapy process. To them, I would say, when they go to that room, the thing that comes to their mind is, why should I come tomorrow? Why should I go through this pain? Why should I go through this torture? Now that is what is the problem their parents told us. They are not ready to come to the school. They feel pained. They feel tortured. How can you change this for them? Now that's how we invented the concept of VHAB, or Virtual Habilitation Project. Now what is VHAB and how did VHAB came in? So during this entire day, okay, when we were talking to many of these children, their parents, we found that one of my friend was playing Angry Bird. So we found that one of the kid came and asked, okay, can he also play that? And we could see there was a lot of children getting attracted to play that game. Now, what we found is that games are motivating them. Because it's not many things that motivate them, but we saw game or gamification as a concept is motivating them. And VHAB is a gamified therapy process. Now, what is VHAB? VHAB is an invention where we are asking them to go through a therapy process without them knowing that they are going through a therapy process. I believe you understand that. So if they are doing exercises, they are playing games. Look, we are even making them do certain things like activities on a daily basis, how to button the shirt. You know, it's very difficult for them to even to button their shirt. It's called fine motor things. So VHAB comes with fine motor and gross motor activities. And we are giving them a platform to learn, to improve their cognitive skills, improve their cerebral skills, and play and learn that entire stuff. So it's gamified and AI-based stuff. Now I'll just show you one video, okay, where one of the child is trying to get the stairs. So this is even after, I would say, 6 months he was on VHAB. Let's see how he's trying to climb the stair. So you can see how much pain he's taking to climb the stair. Okay, so this child, he actually lives on the 11th, more of like on the very top floor of a, I would say, apartment, 11th floor of an apartment. It's very difficult for him to come down on stairs. And even during those days, like 3 to 4 years back, when the power was down, we had seen many times the mother was talking about it's very difficult to get him down using the stairs. So those days he doesn't come to the school. So that is where he went through this VHAB application, the gamified therapy process, along with his physiotherapy, because it's just an augmentation of the physiotherapy process. So you think of that. Okay, let's see how he's doing the games. It's all normal games. You might have played Kinect, leap motion kind of equipments and sensors all around the room, which is actually trying to do certain things. See. Now you can see doing those exercises. So what we were trying to do here, exposing that person to a gamified world. There is an avatar of that person on the gamified world. And looking at that avatar, he's trying to play certain games. It's a very simple concept we were trying to do to see how he is reacting. Even though some of these activities are painful, you might have seen earlier a person is trying to lift his hands and all those kind of things. It's very painful. But since he want to achieve, he want to be a part of that gamified environment, he want to collect some points, he always does it because that is motivating him. And that's how gamification is changing the world today, how AI is changing the world today. So let's see how today he climbs the stair up and down. So you can see without any support, he's able to climb the stairs up, and also he's able to climb down the stairs. And this is what technology can do. Not only a technology is just there for helping businesses creating money or profit, how technology can be applied for a purpose-driven model, or what we call social aspects of it, creating a change for a specially able child. And it's not only technology. There is a process innovation also happened. You cannot go with this kind of a technology and say that you use it, you will get change. Even we don't know what would have happened. What we did here is that we were experimenting. And for experimenting, what you should do, you should empathize to experiment. And why empathize? Because these children should understand that we are there to help them. It should not be that they should be afraid of us to try these things. So we always made sure we empathize properly. We did basic the brainstormings and also the design thinking sessions with them to say them that this is what we are coming with you. You just try it, experiment. And we have been seeing results. More than, I would say, 4,000 children today are on VHAB, as you see. And there's a lot of change that's happening to the children, not only from the perspective of fine motor and gross motor, but also from the perspective of cognitive and cerebral thinking capability. So before I close this application VHAB, so what we did? During this interview process, I told when we were looking at these children and all, So we went in the noon, we went to the canteen to have food. Okay. So there was one child there. I'm not disclosing any names here, but just one child who was being fed by his mother. We all eat rice. Okay. We all have rice in the noon, and we all take a bowl of rice and we eat it. I would say most of us. Now this child was actually fed by his mother. So we were talking to the mother about how he eats and all those things, and we wanted to see whether he can eat by himself. So his mother told, I'll show you how he's going to eat by himself. So she gave a small bowl of rice into his hands. So this guy took it and he started slowly taking that to his mouth. So I would say we were so shocked to see that, while at least I would say it reached 75% distance to his mouth. It was like he started shivering because he's trying to concentrate, and this part is called athetoids, apraxia. This condition is called apraxia. So he started shivering, and only 2 to 3 grains of rice went into his mouth. Now think, he's not able to feed by himself. He needs his mother every time around him, and his mother was a stage 2 cancer patient. And that is where again we thought, okay, we should bring in something for people like him so that he can stand independently. His quality of life can be improved. Today, this person eats by himself. His athetoids got reduced and his shivering got reduced because we have introduced certain kind of exercises or therapies into virtual habilitation platform for improving the fine motor activities, because all this finger related, small walking related, everything relates to the fine motor activities. So that's what we wanted to bring in, how we have got evolved. It was a small thinking process by showing empathy to the society and trying to empower the society and bringing that power to them to make them think independently and create that change for the entire people there, and also their just think of their beneficiaries, their parents, their siblings, and all of them. Now, similarly, let me move to one of the other use cases. I told you there are a lot of people today in the world who are not able to speak properly, and also they are not able to move their limbs, especially in this cerebral palsy, ALS kind of diseases. Okay. Now, I'll just play this video. All these names are not original names. We have changed the names here, so you can hear what he is trying to say. So you might be hearing something he was asking. He was asking that when we were there in the school, he was asking this to us almost half a day. We never knew what he was asking. Now, to our surprise, we were actually trying to understand what he was asking. We were asking many of them. So what we understood later is he was actually asking for a glass of water. Just because we were not able to understand he needs a glass of water, half a day he was actually just looking at us and saying, okay, I need a glass of water. His speech was something we were not able to understand. That's where we found that there is another problem there. Bring in something for people like him or Jason. Create a change. So we started analyzing it, the slurred speech. He's completely dependent on a wheelchair. So we wanted to bring another innovation to them. And that's where we again met another person, okay, Maya. So these are all different kinds of people. She's completely on a bed. She's not able to even speak properly. Okay. She's not able to even move most of her limbs. Just think of her situation. So similarly, there are a lot of people today in the world. What can we bring for them? So this is the problem that we face. So you can see different problems, how you define the problem. They cannot do an independent communication. They are always feared. Why? Because that fear that in them is others are not able to understand me. What will he think if I'm trying to say and he's not able to understand? They're not motivated. They depend a lot for their learning. You know, most of these children, they need scribers during the examination. So they're not like us writing the exam. They need scribers or a third person with them to write an exam for them. So he or she has to say what is the answer for the question and he has to write it. So think if he's not able to say it properly or communicate it properly to the person standing near him. We are all blessed. We have all our organs working perfectly fine. But how can we help people who are having difficulties? That's where we started, by communication needs to be done. And communication should not be just like giving something to them. See, we wanted to bring in the terms of power, independence, and bravery to the kids. We want them to be thought as superheroes because each one of us love to be a superhero. We all see our own superheroes, like the Wonder Woman or the Captain America. I know most of you like superheroes. So we wanted to create that superhero feel for them. We wanted to bring that kind of a culture to him, saying that you are also a superhero. Why don't you also take it up? So that's how we invented something called Assisto. So Assisto is that particular device that you have seen. So this is one form of Assisto, as you see on the head. So he communicates with that Assisto. So you can see here, different forms are there. 7 different forms of Assisto exist today.
My name is Annabelle.
You can see how he is communicating. Okay. So today there is a lot of people who are using, I would say, this device for communication. Now you can actually hear the original speech of this person, Anugrah, what he was trying to ask us. He's actually asking us, "Enikku vellam venam." But today you can hear with this device how he is talking to the entire world. So you can see how AI or IoT, all the things that you have shown there, Arduinos. We have used Arduinos, the basic IoTs, I would say algorithms like from AI deep speech, to generate that sound from what he was trying to say to a sound which his mother, his father always dreamt he wanted to say. So that reaction of his mother, we're hearing his actual sound. This is his actual sound if he would have spoken without speech slurred. This is his actual sound. So that is the change what we wanted to bring using this device, which is called Assisto as of today. You can search for this in Google. We have Assisto, all these informations are available. So we wanted to make them independent in communication. We wanted to make them fearless in their expressions, motivate them. And today they can do their exams by their own. That's the greatest thing, I would say, one of the biggest things that for them, because yesterday they were depending on multiple people to do their exams. The technology is affordable. This is just available for $20. Okay. And we are giving them a better hope. Today, I would say I had to bring in one more slide, but sorry for that. Actually, the person you saw there, Anugrah, he's actually got admissions into one of the famous colleges in Ernakulam, Kochi, after using this, and he has passed all his exams. So it's one of the biggest news, I would say, which got us where he was able to do it with some kind of a communication device that we could give him. Now said that, let me go to the next thing that we have been doing again for this society, hearing impaired. Look, hearing impaired, we have been doing this application called Verbose. Verbose is mostly like a speech to text kind of a tool. And not only speech to text, it will record the lectures. It will create, I would say, more of lecture notes along with some dictionary and pictures of the lecture notes, because it is very important for the hearing impaired society, hearing loss society, I would call it. Now, when COVID came in, all of us were blessed that we were able to use the Zoom, the platforms like Zoom, the Teams, the Google Meets, etc. Now, think of a hearing impaired child. We were getting a lot of requests during the time of COVID that most of them were going into a depression state because their own siblings, which they do not have any problems, they were attending sessions online, they were having the webinars and everything that's going on online. But just being hearing loss, they felt that they were like lost in the society because they were not able to attempt much of the sessions. They were not able to be a part of the sessions, and that's where we thought, why? That's another problem that we saw, and that's where we started integrating Verbose for all the hearing impaired kind of sessions. So whenever we are taking a session for the hearing impaired or the lost society, Verbose came as a platform in that, and we started communicating. So it is also used in several assistive conferences using Verbose.
He can communicate with the student.
So some of the sessions that's conducted using Verbose. So this is one of the students who is working with us in our lab, I would say, Shine, who is actually hearing impaired, and he was an intern in Urja after going through the Verbose platform. So he communicates through Verbose today with our customers and everyone in TCS. So before I want to conclude or show you one last video, what I wanted to bring here is, it's all how you try to find the problem. Learning the technology is one part of it, but finding the problem and solving that problem with whatever technology or small things that you can, and creating that awareness, showing that empathy in you, engaging with the society, and empowering them for the right needs and the wants that they want, that creates the huge success, whatever that you guys are looking for. Okay. And being a part of the, I would say, the Adult Tinkering Lab, you have an opportunity today. You are exposed to most of the greatest things that is there in with you. Use it. Use it for a better cause. Create that change. And you are very early, I would say, to make that change in the world. Look, today, I might be a bit old. I can talk about it. We do small things, but you are very early, I would say, start this change and fight for it. So some of the other things which I was hearing from the principal and all others was like some of the things from the textile engineering perspective. Today we work something on called conductive fabrics, especially again for healthcare, for people who are completely bedridden. Pressure sensor, this is all pressure sensor fabrics where when you start moving left and right, it starts communicating. So a lot of things, AI, IoT, 3D printing. We have also we use the 3D printer of the Kerala Startup Mission, that's the Fab Labs in Kochi and Trivandrum, which Sadish was saying. So we have been using all this and we were able to create some kind of wonders, I would say. And the frugal innovations that we could bring from our small lab has been changing the society. So there is a lot of things yet to be solved, a lot of good things to be seen. And I would say I will wish the best for everyone to do that. Finally, before I close, a small video of how we have been working on some of the purpose-driven stories from the Tata Group.
എനിക്ക് വെള്ളം വേണം.
Anugraha very much enjoyed session with Manu and Robin sir from TCS. Happy to hear his own voice and also to hear clearly whatever he communicates.
What is quality? Quality is extremely hard to define, and it is simply stated fit for use or purpose.
So with that, I'm coming to an end of this short session. I know that I've taken much more time than what was allotted. Sorry for that. So these are some of the stories which we wanted to share from a purpose-driven initiative and innovation. Wish you all the best, and let's work together to create this change. Thank you so much once again to the esteemed dignitaries, and thank you all the best.
Thank you, sir. I gladly invite Srimati Sukumari Menon, Education Officer, Shikshan Bharati Kochi Kendra, to offer felicitation. Ma'am, please.
Thank you, Maya. We fail to recognize the magnitude of the famous British historian Grant Duff's words. Many of the advances in science that we consider today to have been made in Europe were in fact made in India centuries ago. In mathematics, science, medical science, Ayurveda, yoga, astronomy, astrology, etc. A lot of scientific knowledge was evolved in India. One of the oldest civilizations in the world, the Indian civilization, has a strong tradition of science and technology. Ancient India was not only a land of sages and seers, but also a land of scholars and scientists. India was actively contributing to the field of science and technology long before modern laboratories were set up. How were these groundbreaking contributions possible? Only by thinking differently, thinking creatively, by doing and experimenting. In an endeavor to inculcate and develop scientific temperament in young learners of today, the Atal Tinkering Lab, a project by Atal Innovative Mission, aims to foster an innovative mindset in students across the country and to encourage research and innovation in schools. Most respected Chairman, C.A. Venugopal C. Govind, Honorable Chief Guest, Dr. Saji Gopinath, Director, Sri E. Ramankutti, Sri Robin Tommy, Head TCS Rapid Labs, Principal Srimati Sunita, Vice Principal Srimati Sri Jyoti, dear students and teachers, Namaste and a very warm good evening. Bhavans Elamakara has proudly stepped into the noble vision of knowledge enhancement. It was a proud moment when we witnessed the inauguration of the Tinkering Lab, which is a workplace for young minds to give shape to their ideas through hands-on do-it-yourself kits and equipments in science, electronics, robotics, 3D printers, computers, etc. Besides, they can also engage in discussions, collaborate and work together and harness the power of thinking and inventing. We can have a pool of talent that is future ready, a next generation of leaders and innovators and solution providers. These tinkering labs will transform the inexhaustible pool of creative thoughts through startups, research and development, and also some of the new schemes under the Government of India, Make in India, Startup India, Skills India, etc., will grow and flourish. Therefore, establishing a tinkering lab is a step towards a new India. Let students tinker around according to their inclination, tap on their unnoticed potential, break barriers, unleash their talents, and create something unique. Let us hope and pray that the generation of students that will pass through the portals of our schools will make the fullest use of these opportunities by stepping into this noble mission of knowledge enhancement and innovation. I would like to place on record my deep sense of appreciation and applaud the efforts of Principal Srimati Sunita and her team in this initiative. I wish the endeavor continued success. Thank you.
Thank you, Madam. As we come to the close of today's program, I invite Srimati Sri Jyoti N, Vice Principal, Bhavans Vidya Mandir Elamakara, to propose the vote of thanks. Ma'am, please.
Respected Chairman of Bharati Vidya Bhavan, C.A. Venugopal C. Govind, Honorable Chief Guest of the Day, Vice Chancellor of the Kerala University of Digital Science, Innovation and Technology, Dr. Saji Gopinath, Director Bharati Vidya Bhavan Kochi Kendra, Sri E. Ramankutti, Head of the Rapid Labs at TCS, Sri Robin Tommy, Education Officer Shikshan Bharati, Srimati Sukumari Menon, Senior Principal Bhavans Vidya Mandir Elamakara Srimati Sunita S, Head of the Department of Physics Srimati Jayashree L, other dignitaries, well-wishers, colleagues, parents, and my dear students. I deem it a great honor and privilege to propose the vote of thanks on this memorable occasion for our school, the inauguration of the Atal Tinkering Lab, one of the primary aims of which is to celebrate the gift of children's imagination, their small ideas which may go on to have a big impact. On behalf of the Bhavans Vidya Mandir Elamakara fraternity, I wish to thank the chairman of Bharati Vidya Bhavan, C.A. Venugopal C. Govind, for presiding over this inaugural function, for enriching our knowledge realms with the erudite presidential address, and for motivating us to utilize the Atal Tinkering Lab to the fullest possible extent. Thank you, sir. It is my pleasure to express a profound gratitude to the Honorable Chief Guest, Vice Chancellor of the Kerala University of Digital Science, Innovation and Technology, Dr. Saji Gopinath, for having accepted our invitation to inaugurate the ATL of our school and for emphasizing, endorsing, and reiterating the power of innovation and the need to catch them young. Thank you, sir. I also wish to place on record our sincere thanks to Sri Robin Tommy, Head of the Rapid Labs TCS, for giving a definitive direction to our young students with an energetic talk on the power of purpose-led innovation. Thank you, sir. No words would suffice to express our gratitude to the Director of Bharati Vidya Bhavan Kochi Kendra, Sri E. Ramankutti, who, with his relentless pursuit of progress, enhances our drive to strive for perfection in the larger interest of our organization, the Bharati Vidya Bhavan Kochi Kendra. Sir, it is my privilege to thank you on behalf of our entire school community. I also wish to express a profound gratitude to our Vice Chairman, C.A. G. Gopinath, and Honorary Secretary and Treasurer, C.A. K. Shankara Narayanan, who have joined us at this inaugural function. Let me also take this opportunity to thank Srimati Sukumari Menon, Education Officer, Shikshan Bharati, for her words of encouragement and for always being there with us. It is my privilege to thank our Senior Principal, Srimati Sunita S., whose foresight and far-sighted vision empowers the school to utilize all opportunities to harness the skills and creativity of our students. Let me also thank my colleague, Srimati Jayashree L., for delivering the address of welcome at this momentous occasion. The Bharati Vidya Bhavan Kochi Kendra is fortunate to be led by a distinguished team of Kendra committee members, academic consultant and education officer Srimati Meena Vishwanathan, education officer Srimati Renuka N. Menon, coordinator Bhavan's Research Center Srimati Jaya Jacob, principals and vice principals of sister institutions. May I express my profound gratitude to all of them. I also wish to thank the team from Evobi Automations Private Limited, the vendor that provided us with all the equipment required for the lab and for mentoring our students on the tinkering path. A special thanks to the dedicated team of teachers and non-teaching staff who worked tirelessly to oversee the setting up of this lab and organizing this function. And of course, the young tinkerers whose imaginations have already started taking flight, as was evident from the work showcased by them. Let me also thank the entire fraternity of Bhavans Vidya Mandir Elamakara, staff and students and parents for all their contributions and support and for being here at this virtual inaugural function of the Atal Tinkering Lab of Bhavans Vidya Mandir Elamakara. I would like to end with a quote for our dear students by the greatest innovator of our times, Elon Musk. What makes innovative thinking happen? I think it's really a mindset. You have to decide. Thank you once again to everybody present at this virtual meeting. Thank you.
I'm thankful to all dignitaries, well-wishers, and participants of today's meeting. I request all of you to kindly disable your videos and rise for the national anthem.
जनगण मन अधिनायक जय हे भारत भाग्य विधाता पंजाब सिंध गुजरात मराठा द्राविड उत्कल बंगा विंध्य हिमाचल यमुना गंगा उच्चल जलधि तरंगा तव शुभ नामे जागे तव शुभ आशीष मागे गाहे तव जय गाथा जन गण मंगलदायक जय हे भारत भाग्य विधाता जय हे जय हे जय हे जय 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 हे